Good morning, friends and family. It is February the 1st, Monday, and this is your Monday message. I wanted to bring this to you and encourage you and pray for your week. I believe it's going to be a great week. I believe God's going to reveal some things to you this week and that He is going to answer prayers. He is going to show you things and reveal things to you. And so I'm excited about this first week of February in 2021. I wanted to draw our attention this morning on this Monday to something out of 1 Peter. 1 Peter, towards the end of chapter 4, after he's been talking about Christian living and how we are to live and how we are to respond in the days that we live in, he closes out that section by talking about in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 7, the end of all things is at hand. Therefore be self-controlled and sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. Now, I just want to stop right there for a moment. So the end of all things is at hand. We're somewhere around 11:57 p.m., right before the midnight cry, right? I mean, we see the signs all around us, and no one knows the day, no one knows the hour. But we sense that we could be the generation, and we very well may be. But the end of all things is at hand, Peter writes, and he said, therefore, be self-controlled. So with the end in mind, you need to be self-controlled. You need to be sober-minded. You need to be prayed up, looking up, and you need to have control over your passions, to have control over who you are. And he says there, for the sake of your prayers. Now that's interesting because he's connecting this idea of being self-controlled and sober-minded to our prayers being answered. Very interesting there. And then he says in verse 8, but above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. Did you hear that? So the end is at hand. Be self-controlled, sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. Above all, think about that. Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, not this fake love, not a disingenuous love, not a obligatory love, but an earnest love that comes out of your heart, just the overflow of the heart to show people, neighbors and co-workers and church family, that love that you have. And we do that because love covers a multitude of sins. Now look, I don't know if you're one of those in the rare category of having just a little sin in your life. And so maybe you don't need to take this verse as seriously as someone like me, because I have a multitude of sins. And if I have a multitude of sins, love covers a multitude of sins. So think about that balance between how loving we are and how gracious we should be. And then he says here in verse 9, show hospitality to one another without grumbling. Without grumbling. You know, there's a lot of times where people show hospitality and then they roll their eyes. There's a lot of times where people show hospitality because it's expected. There's a lot of times where people show hospitality grudgingly. But no, Peter differentiates the Christian type of hospitality by doing it without grumbling. You know, there's a lot of things that we do, but then we grumble about it. And so we lose our reward, in essence, and we lose the benefit and perhaps the full effect of that love or that mission trip or whatever it may be, because it was done with the wrong heart and it wasn't done without grumbling. So today, February 1st, let's be mindful of what Peter wrote about years ago. It was applicable then, and it's certainly applicable today, that the end of all things is at hand. Be self-controlled, be sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. Above all, keep loving one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. And then also to show hospitality to one another without grumbling. That's good stuff for me. I hope it's good stuff for you. God bless you. Stay faithful, stay focused, and have a great day and a great week.